When you carry a monster around, and you wonder how far you can go, with every step on that road.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching KSA2, and our guest for tonight is Mr. Hassan Abu Alia, and he's from USA. Mr. Hassan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam. Mr. Hassan, let me ask, the question that should be asked at the beginning of the show is, how did you become a Muslim? Or what are the motivations, or what are the things that attracted you to Islam?
Actually, I learned about Islam when I was 8 years old, and it was in a very strange way. I found a pamphlet in my house talking about Tawheed, the Islamic Creed. I found it under my sofa, and I don't know where it came from. And I had this pamphlet from the age of 8 to the age of 15 or 16. And I practically memorized the entire thing. And I did not become Muslim until I was 16, but I knew about Islam. I wanted to be Muslim, but I just didn't know how to become Muslim.
You were 8 at that time?
Yes, I was 8 years old.
Okay, then?
Then it made me interested in studying more about my own religion at the time, because I used to be a Baptist. My mother even got me a private teacher to learn the Bible, and it brought about many questions. The pamphlet was speaking about Allah, that Allah doesn't rest, and the Bible was teaching us in Genesis that God created the earth in 6 days and rested on the seventh. So it made some genuine conflicts within creed for me as a child, and it really made me question my original faith.
Which raises a lot of questions that are not answered.
Not answered in a clear manner, because yes, people do give answers, but oftentimes they're not very clear and not straight to the point.
Not answered, not convinced for you.
I was not convinced at all. As I asked one minister, one priest, sometimes I would get a different answer. My mother just said, take it on faith. But it just wasn't enough for me. She didn't know I was reading this other pamphlet. But eventually, as I got older and I began to study about Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, I began to realize that the only way of monotheism was Islam. It's simple. I just wanted to believe what Abraham alayhi salam believed.
Okay, then you embraced Islam at what age exactly?
I embraced Islam exactly on my 16th birthday. When I was a sophomore in high school, 10th grade, I met a Muslim. His name was Khalid, and he was wearing a kufi. He was dressed a little bit like a Muslim, and I asked him plain and simply, are you a Muslim? He said, yes. Then I asked him, is there a mosque? At the time I just called it temple. Is there a place where you go to pray? He said, yeah. Him and his dad, they were going that same Friday. He asked me to join them. I said, definitely. I went to Juma for the first time. As soon as the khutbah was done, I stood up and said I wanted to be a Muslim.
Okay, that was in US?
Yes.
And in New York?
No, this actually took place in Atlanta, in Stone Mountain, Georgia. I found out about Islam at 8 years old in New York. My mother moved me down to Stone Mountain, Georgia after junior high school. I spent my high school years in Georgia.
Okay. And did you face some difficulties? Can you learn some of the difficulties that you have faced during that time?
The difficulties are not what some people would expect, especially for a new Muslim. My family, they didn't fight me too much. They showed their disapproval. My mother said, I didn't give you permission to become a Muslim.
At the beginning?
Yes, at the beginning. But the resistance wasn't too strong. The main obstacle, I realized that my journey to Islam was going to be a bit smooth. my journey in Islam was going to be a bit rough. My journey was the journey to the Sunnah, because I used to be a Sufi. So there were many misunderstandings in regards to how to worship Allah correctly, how to adhere to the Quran without false interpretations. So this was where my obstacles really came in. It was within the religion.
Okay, what was the reaction of your friends, your closest friends, the people around you?
My closest friends,
When they knew that you embraced Islam?
My closest friends, some of them, they looked at me a little bit strange, and some of them actually cheered me on. They started calling me Malcolm X, just teasing a little bit, but those are just some close friends. But my friends never really opposed me. Most of them never really opposed me. Even though they didn't become Muslim, they never really stood in my way.
So they supported you?
More so just leave them alone and see what happens kind of thing.
At what time? I mean, for the first 3-4 weeks, or the first month, or...
Oh, for the first year.
For the first year?
Yes.
They were waiting for some action.
Yeah, they were waiting for, like, is this a phase? Is he gonna, like, come back to normal soon? They were just waiting to see what happens.
Okay. In your opinion, through your experience, what are the main aspects that might encourage people to Islam? I mean, we have some kind of i'jaz, the scientific discoveries in the Quran that was, mentioned more than 14 centuries. So, do you think that these discoveries attract people to Islam? They at least to read about Islam.
They attract people who are on a strong intellectual level. And this is something to really keep in mind, that people who are well educated, well read, yes, they're very attracted to these aspects of the religion, the scientific proofs. But as for many other people, they don't have strong formal way of education. They just know what they've been brought up with. In regards to these people, our Islamic behavior is what comes out on top.
So through Islamic behavior, everything will deal with this behavior, and then they will know the right image about Muslims.
It gives them the reasons to ask questions. For example, when I was in high school, after I became Muslim, the girls wanted to know why I wouldn't touch them anymore. My teachers wanted to know why I started wearing different clothing. They wanted to know why I stopped smoking. They wanted to know different things. The behavioral change made a huge difference. Even my mother, she realized that I started treating her differently. Until now, I'm my mother's favorite. And I'm the only Muslim in the family. But it was through the behavioral change. I realized if someone is doing something bad, it really lessens the chances of anyone listening to you. Whereas if someone is trying to practice earnestly, with sincerity, trying to behave in a good manner, according to what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us, that it really softens people's hearts. And even for those who don't like you, they find they have to respect you.
And do you think that people are asking questions about the positive changes, for example, not smoking and not drinking alcohol, something like that? These positive changes, do you think that they are asking questions or reading books about Islam through these positive changes?
Usually, it's not necessarily people will read books all the time. It depends on the people. People that are well educated, yes, they may start to investigate, without a doubt. Those who are well educated, they will start to see what their child believes in, why he believes in this, why has it made such a strong impact on him or her when the parent couldn't do it. Because many parents, they begin to question their own parenting skills when they see an outside force is reprimanding their child. So, for those that had a strong intellectual background, you would see that yes, they were reading. Some of my teachers began to read. Some of my friends began to read. And some of my friends did become Muslims.
Okay, do you think, in your opinion, that the number of Muslims are increasing despite of all the allegations about Islam as a religion?
Without a doubt, the number of Muslims are increasing. The number of Muslims are definitely increasing. The only issue is, are they getting the authentic knowledge?
That's the real question.
That's the real question. Because it was my test becoming a Muslim.
Do you think that the people, I mean, of course, what about the Islam increasing in the US and in New York especially?
The Islam in New York is definitely increasing dramatically by year. The people are really coming in bigger numbers. But once again, it goes back to what they're learning when they become a Muslim. Yes, people are becoming Muslims, but what kind of Muslims? And hopefully, I would like that the Sunnah is propagated. I like for the Sunnah to be propagated in a very strong manner, so that the people can choose their Islam with wisdom.
Do you think that people in the US and in the European countries in general, do you think that they are believing what they see and what they watch in the media about Islam?
Only some people.
Picture about Islam.
Only some people. Only some people. As I told you from before, that people who are well educated, generally you will see that they tend to question a little bit more. And sometimes, even those who don't have formal education, they tend to be skeptical of what comes through the media, especially nowadays. But it is clear that people are definitely questioning. Many of the people are not falling for the media tricks that give bad propaganda to the religion. If that was the case, then why would so many people be entering Islam? So yes, the people are having an awakening, and we really have to thank some of the people and the ulama, the scholars, that have dedicated their time and their efforts to going out and being brave and propagating the Sunnah.
Okay. Through your experience and in your opinion, what are the common wrong images about Islam that are spread in the world, and how to correct it? It's a hard question, I know.
It's okay. Really, it's a question for a scholar. I'm far from that level. The worst images that are portrayed concerning Islam, really it starts with things such as terrorism, unfortunately, and hypocrisy, as well as, how should I say, excessive wealth and overindulgence. And honestly, these are some of the bad images that people portray about Islam in the West, as well as extremism. Now, in regards to terrorism, if the people know what the real Islam is, they will know what the real Islam is not. And they will know that Islam is perfect, and every human being has mistakes. So they will know not to base the mistakes of individuals on the entire religion. And this is one of the most important points.